levitating, cause I done made my decision. There ain't no choosing and picking, there's only one set mine. I'm on that one set mine, and one set mine, I'm on that. Single-minded.
Hey everybody, I'm Monty, and it's great to be back again. This is Channel 5 in conjunction with the Shareholders Podcast. And y'all, I ain't talked to a good singer in a minute. And so I'm glad to have another one on. So glad she had the time to come on. Today I have on the show for an interview, Miss Ella Camp. How you doing today, Ella?
I am good. I am good.
Hey, thank you. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate the time. So let's get into it. For those who don't know, Ella is a great singer. She has an amazing voice. And we kind of hooked up with a mutual friend, and we talked about some things, and we'll get into that in the interview. But I just said, you know me, y'all, I'm always looking for content. I say, let's hold this, let's just bring this on to the show and let's talk. So let's start from the beginning. How long have you been singing, or you remember singing?
Ever since I was little, I would say around 4 or 5. My family is a musical singing group, instrument playing family. So I kind of just grew into it. So
it's in the blood then. So you got it all through the house. And
yes, it's all through my bloodline. From my dad, he was a saxophone player, organ player. My mother, the choir director, she's a singer. My auntie, she played the piano. It's just through my bloodline.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. Okay, so coming up then, a lot of us church kids coming up, did you have any kind of like musical influences? Of course, we all come into church, we all, know church singing, but were there anybody specifically that kind of really stood out to you as you were growing up?
I would say my aunt. She died about 10 years ago, but that was my influence. Like, she just embraced, like when she sung with so much compassion, so much heart. She wasn't well known, but that's who influenced me to even have a desire to even sing or go into singing, having a career out of it. So she was one of my biggest cheerleaders, and I looked up to her all the time. And, now when I do go forth and sing, especially my family, they always say, you look just like your aunt, when you're going forth, because I embodied her. And I always wanted to, not be like her, but have the same drive that she had when she went forth and sung. So
it's amazing to have somebody like that to kind of not be like, you said, not be like, but it's an influence, and it makes
yes.
it, because, and you know how it is in church sometimes, they just push you out there and you don't know what you're hardly doing sometimes, and like,
that's
okay,
true.
but so then let's get into it. You singing now for a while and all that. Do you feel like this is a part for you of ministry, or is it just more something that you enjoy? Because not everyone that can sing needs to be a minister of singing, you know what I'm saying? That's nothing wrong with that. But what do you feel is kind of more your style of it is, when I'm singing, I'm ministering, or I just really enjoy singing and people enjoy it as well?
When I sing, I minister. Okay. It's my nature. It's in my DNA as well. I grew up around a lot of ministers, pastors, all the above. And it's like when I do sing, I want to be able to reach somebody and take them to a place that they haven't been. Or maybe God will, the Holy Spirit will just come and, change the words. And I hear very well. And sometimes what we need is not something that has already been sung, but what can be downloaded, at that given time when I'm going forth, that somebody need at that given time. Breakthroughs. Somebody could be dealing with depression, like something that I sung was able to reach that area and they had their breakthrough. And I believe, that's how it should be. That's the way I look at it. Everybody is not the same, but I love to see somebody uplifted through my singing. I love to see people's lives change. Like, I just don't want you to tell me that I did a good job. What did I do as I was singing helped you? How did I minister to that place that you was going through?
Yeah.
Did I bring you from sadness to joy? From death to life? And that's the type of person that I am when I do go forth.
Man, I love that answer. I love that answer so much. And you know, it's funny. I remember it might have been at AIM years and years ago, and a singer got up and she kind of paused for a minute, and then she sang a song and she just tore it up. I had no idea that I was going to have a chance to interview her a couple of months later, but when I brought up that situation, she said, "You know what? I just felt something in the room." She said, "I had another song." And she's like, I said it didn't feel right. And when she sang, she was, sermonic solo before and I said, it stayed with me. And so I was glad to hear your answer, because I feel like, as a musician myself, sometimes we just feel something,
Yeah.
and even if, the praise and whatever, they got a whole set, you just kind of gotta, and it can change the room, you know what I mean? And so I want to ask you a question within that. Then what would you tell, not that, we ain't that old, but what would you tell like younger people? Because, I don't want people to lose that. I don't want people to feel like, well, this is just my gift and I'm gonna just sing whatever. What would you tell somebody like, okay, well, Ella, how do I know? How do I discern it? How do I know what to do if something doesn't feel right? How do I just step out? Is there any advice, especially for a singer, you would tell somebody?
Be open.
Mm.
Even though you might have practiced that one song or that two song, that A and B selection, always remain open, because the Holy Spirit could do whatever he wants to do whenever given time. Remain open, because guess what? You could be going out there with what you have practiced, your A and B selection, but what if God want to do something different?
Yeah.
Are you just going to be closed? Like, I always remain open. I don't stick to the average of, okay, I rehearse. Of course, you need to rehearse your skills, and make sure you are prepared. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, become open and allow the Holy Spirit, or, you never know, in that room, in that particular moment, in that time or space, that somebody's life could be changed. Like, I think you should sing with purpose. I think you should do everything with purpose. Yeah. How can I help somebody cross over? If I have overcame something, I'm gonna allow my singing or my, if I speak, to reach that area, and you can only get discernment or remain open in that way if you have a relationship.
Okay.
You have to, like, it ain't no other way. Like, you have to have a relationship with God, and he will lead you and direct you to who's needed, because that's why we live. Yeah. That's our purpose in the earth anyway, to help somebody else out through our testimony, through what we've been through. It's just not about us. It's not about what we have been through. It's about what have I overcame? Because it could be a lot of Ellis. It could be a lot of Munties. It could be a lot of that are waiting for our voice. So we're through singing as well.
Wow. Y'all hearing all this? Y'all hearing this? Y'all getting the word today. I like that. That's all right. But you're totally right. You're hitting on the head. And I love what you said about relationship. Because you can hear clearly when you have a relationship, and you say, like you said, be open, and nothing wrong with preparing. I'm very big on preparing as well, but sometimes you just gotta, and that's good to hear from you. So, but then let's kind of move on. We need to talk too kind of about the business side of it as well, because you're an aspiring artist, and you got some stuff out now, but you're on the independent circuit. So again, kind of with your journey, maybe if somebody's watching this or going to listen to this, how has that been kind of on the independent circuit, trying to make your own way, and it is a business side of this too, how has your experience been?
Know the industry. When I first had a inclination or a drive to even release a single, I was in the infant stage of it, meaning I didn't know nothing. I'm just like, okay, let me write this song and just put it out there. So, I'm gonna just give the story. A producer reached out to me, and I was like, oh, okay, the first one. Now I should did my research before I, just dive straight into it. And I'm like, what am I doing? Before you know it, I was in the state of where he was at, which is Connecticut. And Lauren did, go with me through this journey. She wasn't there, but I experienced some things, and I'm glad I even made it back to where I live. That's how it
Wow.
was.
Yeah.
And, you know, he was very underhanded.
Mm.
I, you know, I paid into it. I did, because it costs money. If anybody out there, you want to do something, it's just not you're going to record in the studio. It comes with so much.
Mm.
And I paid this man. And, you know, before you knew it, he was all in the song. It
Mhm.
wasn't a song about me. And, you know, sad, but he was trying to hook me up with other people.
Wow.
It was scary
Yeah.
because I'm female. That's another thing as well.
Okay.
They know when you're fresh, they know when you don't know. And I did not know.
Yeah.
So, you know, I made it back here, and Lauren helped me out. So it's good to have somebody that would understand the paperwork. She helped me out so much. And he didn't know I had that help, and he just fled.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Right.
You know, because it's like somebody know, you know, the work, the paper, like, let's cross this out.
Right.
Anyway, the bright side of it, I ended up going to LA to re-record. And that's how I was able to produce Closer to You. You know, in that, through all that. And then I was able to do my single release as well, which a lot of people came to. It was amazing. It
Right.
was so amazing. I had other artists there to sing before I even went up, just to, you know, make sure their content was out there as well. As you see, it's all about who else can you help along the way? You know, who else can you uplift? And so, yeah, it was challenges. Just know your craft,
Yeah.
know the industry, know who you're working with, because they will try
They will
to,
prey on you.
take over
That's
and
they
run
will.
over you.
Yeah. They will prey on you. They will hear your gift, and then, like you say, you know, old folks say, see you kind of green, maybe not know, and take advantage of the situation. Unfortunately, and you know, I hate you had to go through that, but glad you could come through it, learn from it, you know what I'm saying? And now you can maybe help somebody else and things like that, because it's just, that is part of it, y'all. And she hit some things right there, you know, this, I think, you know, you sometimes you see the glitz and glamour of it, but even established artists will tell you that money, you know, the producer got to get paid, the musician, the engineer, all these things you don't know. And you know, you just trying to sing like, hey, I'm just trying to, you know,
Yeah.
and there's so much to it. And side note, y'all, the Lauren she's talking about, of course, is
Yeah.
Lauren, who's been on my show a couple of times, if you guys remember Lauren, and that's who hooked us up, our mutual friend. So I'm glad she was there to look out for you a little bit.
Yes.
So, but if I can then, let's just talk then for, you know, like you said, we kind of came through the storm and you made it out. So what do you kind of want to do next? Like now that you know, you kind of know what you know now, not saying you know the whole business, but what's kind of the next step for you in terms of moving forward for your career?
Um, First I had to deal with the trauma. That's why it took me so long
Yeah.
to get to this place. I think it shouldn't have taken me 4 years, but I dealt with a lot beyond even what I have spoken.
Yeah.
And so since that, I had time to heal. I had time to understand, talk to different producers, understanding what I'm supposed to be doing. So I do have another song that keeps coming up that I have written. It was kind of like during the pandemic, but I think it's something that just not gospel, but I believe everybody will be touched by it. So I do have something else that I'm trying to complete and come out with. Um, Not a complete album, but I do have this song that I know that will reach a lot of people, because it's something that, you know, you could pick up the lyrics to and sing it. You know, it's not a whole bunch of words that, you know, you got to really listen hard to it. It's something that keeps coming up, and it's like, okay, I hear you. I
Yeah.
need to go ahead and just release that. So that's what's coming up, you know, so hopefully it won't stop. I learned my lesson,
Yeah.
and learn as you go, able to help somebody else out.
No, definitely. And I'm so glad that you're doing that, because I you know, it's like the word says, your gift will make room for you, you know. And
Mm.
I was just talking to somebody, you know, in a different profession, but kind of in the same situation that you had been through. And I was like, just keep putting stuff out. Just, you know what, you have no idea who's going to hear it at the right time. You know, I would listen to an old clip of a preacher talking about, you know, Joseph in the prison in a hard situation, but he used his gift to speak to that butler. The butler remembered him with Pharaoh. He said, wait a minute, I know somebody, you know, and that's how Joseph got out, you know, and changed his life. And, you know, you putting out your stuff, and whoever's watching this, whatever that book, that business plan, I don't care, just go for it. You know what I mean? Because you don't know what that could lead to in the meantime. So I'm glad that you're, you know, again, you know what, I can't remember that old saying, but wouldn't pay a nickel for what I've been through, but whatever the old folks say. But I'm glad you. So I want to ask maybe two more questions. I really appreciate the time. So what's the dream collab? I like to ask singers this too. Like, you know, what's you on the single with any artist that you could pick right now? Who would you like to had a collab with, put y'all together? You know what I'm saying? I mean, speak it out now. You never know. You know who's on the collab list.
I thought about that. I'm like, who? It's so many of them out there that I would, but who came to my mind was Kiara Sheard. And the reason why is I love how real she is. That's one. I like how laid back. I don't, you know, from what I know and what I've seen, you know, just from the outside, she don't allow the platform or the people dictate who she is.
Yeah.
She remains who she is just from the content that I see that she puts out. Like, you know how like sometimes the stages, you could start off humble and then, you know, the platforms and the people and the rooms could get you to a place like, okay, you have arrived. But I always see her always at a place of she's just Kiara. You know, she's just who she is. And that's who I would say that I would collab with.
That's a great pick. And it truly is refreshing to see people kind of stay grounded. And you know, unfortunately, it can be hard, you know, when everybody's saying you great, everybody's saying you perfect, you kind of start believing it, and folks start changing up. And I remember I heard Jamie Foxx tell a story once. He had won that Oscar for Ray. He said, man, I started dressing different, acting different. And he said, some of the homies see me out in the street. And he's like, bro, what you got on? What you doing? He's like, I was like, man, I had to check myself. But yes, that would be great. And listen, hey, you do not know, Ella, like things happen, you know, right place, right time. You might be on that with her. So I also want to ask you this as well, for what you're doing and where you feel like guys dealing with you. Do you feel like at any point you might actually be I should ask, I don't know if you are, but are you in ministry separately as well? Or do you feel like at some point you might find yourself in that?
I am in ministry. I did lead the praise and worship at my church now, which is Kingdom Refiners, for almost 7 years.
Okay.
7 years. But I could see myself at a place of taking it beyond just the church, you know, like what else can I be doing in the earth that could involve singing and, you know, on a bigger scale, you know. Sometimes it's just good to serve and learn, you know, and then it will show you how it's supposed to be or how you're supposed to be when you step outside of those realms and you continue to serve, but just on a different scale.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm heavy in ministry. You know, I can't run from that.
Yeah, no, you can't.
And, you know, but you know, I do want to take my singing, you know, and get that passion back, because a lot of things were stripped. I can honestly say that, you know, life would do that, you know, different things that comes up and you just don't want to be bothered. And, you know, but those are the times where, you know, God deals with you and he shows you, you know, he gets your character right, you know, your integrity, all that matters, you know, because you could be a singer and could rock the house, you know, and you know, make the people fall out. But that doesn't matter if your character is not up to par. You know, it doesn't matter. And those rooms are available for you when you come in with good intentions, you know, not motives of, you know, trying to do this or be something or con your way through. Your character will make room, just like your gift. So
See, y'all,
yeah.
that's why I asked that last question, because I hear a little preach. I hear a little when you be talking, I'm like, hey, that could be a whole word right there. So I like that. Ella, before we go, let people know where they can find you and check your music out, because I want people to support. Please let them know how they find your social media, all that stuff.
Yes, my social media is I'm on Facebook as Ella Marisha Camp. I'm on Instagram as Ella Camp 88. You can find my music on all digital outlets under Ella Marisha Camp. Closer to You. That is the name of the single that's out now. So that's where you can find me. I am on TikTok, but I'm not a TikTok person, but I am an Instagram and Facebook person. So, that's where I.
Yeah. But y'all check her out. Amazing voice. Please show her some love. You know what I'm saying? If you anybody want to check that out, if you're a producer or somebody,
I am.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Glad you're back in the game, definitely, because we need more genuine people, more people that I'm telling you, how you spoke about being able to flow in a relationship. That's what we need. I feel like I don't want to say we're getting away from it, but you can't have enough of that. So I'll say it like that. So Ella, I appreciate the time. I'm glad we had a chance to do this. Can't wait. We will do it again for sure. Hopefully, I just heard Stella's is coming out here to Vegas. So hey, you know what? You might have to come out. You know what I'm saying? We're glad to hang out. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna try to maybe do some things. I can't even talk about that yet, because we're working on some things for Stella's, but it's gonna be in my backyard, y'all. So
wow.
Hey, come through, definitely.
Yes.
That would be great. So guys, this is of course Mighty Sharp Network, Channel 5, in conjunction with the Shareholders Podcast. Please keep checking us out. The likes, appreciate the comments, all of that. I gotta get better, y'all, because y'all be talking about y'all commenting on the YouTube stuff. I still don't be checking them. I'm not used to commenting on YouTube stuff. If you hit me up on Instagram, I'm gonna do better. But Ella, again, I appreciate the time. Blessings to you and your fam. And we're looking for great things, for more music coming to you as well. Thank you so much.
Yo.
Got too many fake things in a real life. Isolated, but it's real time, and I can't find no dimes. It's been rough in the rough, now I'm buff. Diamond rough, now I'm buff. Yeah, I'm levitating, cause I done made my decision. There ain't no choosing and picking, there's only one set mine. I'm on that one set mine, I'm on that.